welcome to another video. Today we're going to be doing part 2, yeah I know, really quick, of what if Deku was the Hollow King. Now, I need to quickly do that actually, because I didn't even, I hope you like my new background. I changed it because I wanted to. Let's see, let's take a look. Yikes. What was this one? No, this one. Okay, you know what? It's whatever. Jeez. People watched it for only 3 minutes. Ouch. Anyway. So, what we're going to be doing, again, is part 2 to this. But I am going to be changing one thing. See, I found something online. It was some kind of what is your Zanpakuto quiz thing. And, I just randomly put in answers, saw all the ones, and I thought this one was really cool. So, crap. I think how you say ice tiger in Japanese is Kori no Tora. I could totally have butchered that, but again, my apologies. So, basically, this is going to be Izuku's Bankai. Well, Bankai and Shikai when he's in human form. You know what I mean? Not full-on crazy, kill everything in my path mode. And he will be able to, like, hollow mask. But, yeah. The mask is gonna kinda, like, wrap around his face a little bit to be like a helmet. He's still gonna have the jagged teeth and everything. It's just really hard to describe. So, basically, when he says, rip apart the heavens, Kora... Hold on. When he says, rip apart the heavens, Kori no Tora, his... Okay, I'm just gonna read what it does. You can read it if you want, or you can, put your phone away, or just, put your laptop or whatever off to the side, whatever you're watching this on, and just listen to what I'm saying, with my very soothing voice. Anyway, so it says... Basically, Ice Tiger manipulates everything that is related to water. She is a pure water spear. When you activate her Shikai, that is. With blue and purple ribbons wrapped around her. She freezes everything every time she's called out. For it will begin to rain no matter where they will be. So basically, to summarize that in my words... Man can make a monsoon in the desert. Now, I'm just gonna say that this is her abilities with an average, soul level Shinigami. Yeah, Midoriya's soul, or Ryatsu, is 5... No, not even 5, like 100 times that of Ichigo's. And Ichigo has a lot of soul powers, so yeah. Anyway. This rain can heal the injuries of anyone that the user deems a friend or loved one. This, it stays the same. Now, Midoriya can switch it between, a spear and a sword, like a long sword. Basically, it's his blade. Okay, basically he has 2 different Zanpakutos, kinda. When he's in human form, it's an average Zanpakuto katana looking thing. But when he Shikais, it can either be a spear or a long sword. Not like a English long sword, like an Odachi. Okay? When the Bankai is released, the user becomes engulfed in ice. Oh boy. The ice will shatter, revealing the user And itself, the user in itself. In the Bankai, nothing much changes about its appearance, with the invisible layer of water around the head of the spear, causing it to widen in the area which it can attack. The Bankai is on a time limit of 15 minutes. I'm going to extend that to at least an hour plus, because that is the only time that is needed, if not seconds. If not, then only a second is enough. The moment an enemy is grazed with the spear, even as shallow as even if the spear is shallow and on the face, the enemy's organs will begin to freeze over, hence the name freeze over. Koro, I think, hold on. Hence the Bankai, freeze over Kore no Tora. So, summarizing all of that, basically, Midoriya's human Bankai, essentially, also his Bankai spirit is female in both forms. I will figure out what his monster form Bankai is, because I need to change that, because the way I described it in the last video was stupid. But basically, when he activates, when he says, rip apart the heavens, Koro no Tora, it can either become an Odachi, which is like a really long katana, or a spear. And when he activates his Bankai, I'm going to change it a little bit. I'm going to say that around the tip of the spear and at the hilt of the Odachi forms into a dragon skull. Not like a skull, but, a dragon head. And he can either make the jaws on said dragon open, engulfing the weapon with ice on both, granting, again, other things. Now, he can make it to where it only freezes over the body for the Bankai. And, he will also get, like, ice. You know how in his hollow form he has the fluff on his, collarbones? See, instead of it being fluff, it's green ice. Yes, green ice. It sounds really cool looking, in my opinion. He'll get gauntlets made of ice and boots. A lot of other stuff could happen, but at the moment, we're not going to get into that. Okay. Hold on a second. So, I found another one, and, this one kind of makes sense. Okay, I'll explain it in the next part. Right now, we need to get into the actual what if, because I've been explaining powers for the past 8 minutes. So, when Midoriya, he starts to wake up, he wakes up, he's in the hospital, he's like, what the heck? Why is there a taste of iron in my mouth? And he hears a voice, ringing in his head. Just call when you need, kid. This is the first time I've had so much fun in a long time. He's like, huh? Who said that? As he says that, he hears he hears maniacal laughing as it slowly gets quieter. Before, he hears a woman's voice, a woman he's never met before. Sorry about him. Hey, I'm Kore no Tora. Ice Tiger? Yeah. Well, just call me Kore. Okay, Cody. What's going on? Well, for starters, congratulations. You're now undead. Huh? Well, let me be a little bit more specific. See, you had died, and when you did, you awakened your power, your real power, the ability to become a hollow. But I think someone in your family was a soul reaper, hence the reason I exist. Like you, myself is split into two different forms. I am the more light, creative, and good side. Although my power can be quite devastating, like your own, my other half isn't so friendly. Also, this is out a story, but when Izuku learns how to use the Hollow Mask, he'll be able to use Kuri's other half. Basically, he'll be able to use the Hollow's Shikai and Bankai. Only while he has the mask equipped. Anyway, so what can you do? Well, when you draw me, you have the ability to manipulate water and ice. If you activate my Shikai, you can create a monster. You can either make a light rain that heals you and anyone you deem a friend, or a loved one, or lover, or you can make a monsoon that'll wash away your enemies. With my Bankai, I become incredibly powerful. Almost terrifyingly so. I can, from the lightest of scratches, I can freeze someone whole. Think of what Todoroki did to the Nomu in the OG timeline. Whoa, that's scary. Yes, but I am under your command. It's a pleasure to finally meet you, Izuku. Same to you, Cody. Now, we cut back to Izuku snapping back to reality. He's looking around. He realizes he was in his mindscape. Okay, that's pretty weird. So he gets out of bed, his regen quirk is now kicked into overdrive. Because his original stamina was good. That's the reason he was able to regenerate so quickly. But now, his quirk feeds off of his Ryatsu. Basically, he takes damage, he can heal almost instantaneously. Now you may be wondering, why did you give him the ability to heal using his Shikai, but also give him a healing quirk? Well, actually scratch what I said about it running off of his Ryatsu. Also, the rain replenishes his... This is about to be a broken ability. It replenishes his stamina, his HP, and his SP, or MP, or Ryatsu. With each drop, it will regenerate. It regenerates him. It regenerates all of these attributes extremely quickly. So, if we're going by Soul Reaper, destructive or overpowered capabilities, he'd be in the upper S rank. Yeah, if not triple S tier. Stronger than most, freaking almost strong enough to take on the freaking whole Soul Society. Man's is crazy OP. So, now we're gonna cut to, All Might running in and being like, Midoriya, what was that? He's like, what do you mean? And then he pulls out his phone showing him a video of him in hollow form. Midoriya's like, what is that? That's you, young Midoriya. How did you do that? I don't know. As a partial mask forms over the right side of his face. Sorry about that. For your information, that was me. Pleasure to meet you. My name is... Sorry, give me a second, please. This idiot. Huh? Who said that? Midoriya's panicking, looking around, as All Might points to his face, revealing, Midoriya looks in a mirror. He sees that half of his face is covered by this hollow mask, while, the other half that isn't covered, it looks like his normal hair, while the other half, is, like, slick backed. You know what I mean? So, oh wait, not Izuku, Izuki, or however you say his name backwards, Izuku's name's backwards, because that's what he is, basically tells All Might, this is what I am, this is my power, this, that, the other thing, time skip. Basically, they write it off to the others as just a new quirk, his actual quirk that developed after, telling everyone about One for All and all that. Is actually, telling him that he had a quirk that was blocked by his genetics, and his healing and strength enhancement quirks were a weakened form. They didn't tell him about One for All yet. I'm changing it a lot, I know. Sorry. So, basically, we're just going to time skip straight to the sports festival. So, Midoriya has been training his absolute bottom off. Mans is doing everything in his power to make sure he is fully prepared, for anything his new powers have to throw at him. Man's endurance, training is all, Man's endurance is off the charts. His intelligence is, he's even smarter than he is in canon. So, yeah. So now everyone knows, Izuku has also figured out a way to make Kuri, I think that's how you say it, Kuri, disappear and reappear in his hand, in Zanpakuto, in sealed form. So, everyone will think it's a part of his quirk. So, we're just going to time skip straight into, again, the sports festival arc. So, Midoriya, it's time for the whatever battle, not the battle, the race. So Midoriya's like, that's an idea. Oh boy. Everyone, also Midoriya got first in the entrance exam, so he's called up and he's like, hi, I'm Izuku Midoriya, and and in his head he's like, the hollow him is like, hey, let me talk to him. He's like, in his head he's like, you sure? And he's like, yeah, let me do it. I'm gonna scare him good. Alright. As Midoriya is like, hold on a second. I would like to introduce you to, well, you'll see. As he puts his right hand in front of his face, and he's like, I hope this works. As green energy explodes off of his right hand, black and green energy explodes off of his hand, letting HI, or Hollow Izuku, take over for a minute. Also, in Hollow form, he still has his hair, it just kind of appears over the helmet, I guess. I don't know how to do it. Just, actually, yeah, when he does go hollow form, he gets longer hair. So, yeah, just roll with it. So, you know, that happens, and Hollow Izuku is like, well, hello there! Pleasure to meet such great cannon fodder. You know, me and my host here are gonna totally blow you all out of the water. Especially considering none of you D-class wannabes could even own up to half my other half's full power. Heck, even half of his power is more than 100% of most people here. Oh, and to think, he's actually afraid that he could lose. Oh, he's too precious. Well, oh, I should probably tell you who I am. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm his other half, his better half. Call me H.I. Now, I say we let the games begin. You know, as he starts letting off a bunch of energy. You know, All Might and the other pro heroes that were at the USJ, you know, they immediately shot up as they saw the green energy. You know, all of Class 1A got into, like, a fighting stance. As then, you know, as, Hollow Izuku puts the mic back onto its stand and he says, I'll see you later, and then breaks off one of the horns. As the entire mask shatters, you know, Izuku's hair turns back to normal and he's like, ugh, don't like doing that. Jeez. Anyway, like he said, I hope everything goes well. You know, everyone's like, what the heck? So, we're just gonna jump straight into the race. So, Midoriya's like, alright, I guess I can, yeah, I'm just gonna use One for All. Infused with my Soul Reaper energy. Basically, the way I think a Soul Reaper works, well, I'm pretty sure it is how it works, is the more Ryatsu they have, the stronger their physical abilities can be, as long as they keep their Ryatsu in their body. So Midoriya's figured out a way to enhance his physical strength, speed, dexterity, you know, all the whole nine, while also using One for All at 50%, because I'm pretty sure I said he could use 50% in the last one, so he can just Neum. Now, Izuku can either use a mask, which, you know, a normal hollow mask, or a full helmet. The full helmet allows, you know, HI to take control for a limited time. Now, if Izuku is near the brink of death, or is dead, and, you know, if he's on the brink of death and angry, he'll go hollow. Same if he dies, but, you know, if he dies, he just pretty much goes hollow. So, getting into the race, so Midoriya, you know, he, instead of holding the flame in front of his, you know, the energy fire in front of his face, he swipes downward, pretty much pulling a mask out of thin air. As he's like, I'm ready! As President Mike says, go, he just... He's pretty much flash-stepping all the way there. And, you know, I'm gonna say Soul Reapers were watching this. Oh, I should probably turn this. Sorry, hold on. So anyway, Midoriya pretty much, he makes it to the finish line. He breaks it. He gets the 1,000,000 points. Teams stay as they were. No, wait, scratch that. Okay, so instead of Mei Hatsume and Uraraka being on his team, it's Kirishima and Mina. So, Bakugo's stuck with Uraraka and Hatsume. Time skip, a few minutes later. Midoriya, he's able to keep the 100 points. And, people can tell, like, even the people in the stands can tell that he's holding back. So, during the first fight with Shinso, also, Midoriya has learned, you know what? You'll find out. So, when it's time for him to fight Shinso, he doesn't really, he listens to Ojiro, but he's like, this will be easy. So he gets onto this field, and he's like, as everyone can feel the arena growing cold. Oh, so cold. And the humidity skyrockets. As he holds out his hand, and ice, water molecules begin to siphon towards his hand, freezing, creating a blade that then shatters, turning into an actual katana. As then he, 1 second. At his side, getting ready to do a horizontal slash, he says, Tuketsu Moon Slash. Or freezing moon slash, because, Google Translate's weird. Yeah, as, basically it's a Gunsuga Tensho, but it's freezing. So, as he goes to slash, as it fires, it does hit Shinso. But it doesn't kill him, it doesn't cut him in half, it doesn't, full ice body. It basically, puts his body into shock, causing him to pass out. As Izuku, sheaths his blade, some people could faintly see like a black energy creating a robe around him. What looked like to be a robe, as, it immediately disappeared after, he sheathed his blade. As they go to check on Shinso, realizing he's only been knocked out, Midoriya wins. Jumps. King Crimson! I'm sorry, I had to. Basically, time skip, Izuku versus Todoroki. Izuku's like, you still have a chance to leave now, Todoroki. Because just to let you know, I'm not holding back. If what you did to Shinso last round proved anything, you're still not enough to beat me. Let's get one thing straight, everybody. I gave him an out. Alright? No one can say I went overboard. Draws his blade. The same coldness, increased humidity, it happens. As after he exhales, he inhales again. He holds his sword in both hands, raising it above his head. Rip apart the heavens! And his voice is echoing. Kori no Tora! As he throws his sword into the air. As it glows a light blue, and I totally forgot what else happens when it becomes spearhead. As Izuku, it lands in the center of the arena. Todoroki is like, I won't let you get it! He uses his right side to create a giant ice pillars around it. Once it's completely engulfed, he's like, huh, what are you gonna do without your special sword? As Izuku raises his right hand, as the ice immediately shatters. Like, as Izuku starts raising his hand, it begins to crack violently, then shattering into a million pieces. Once his hand is fully raised into the air, Kuri flies into his hand. Like think of Mjolnir, just as he grabs it and gets in, he points the tip down and gets into a fighting position. He's like, I gave you an out. Now, I'm just gonna say a little something interesting happens. His hair begins to turn a very light shade of blue, as his eyes glow blue, pretty much, as it then begins to rain. Everyone's like, what? Why is it raining? And it's only raining over the arena, not in the stands. So they're like, what? Is he doing this? As he's like, as he charges towards Todoroki at pretty much blinding speeds. So, Todoroki tries to defend himself using ice. It doesn't work because it's immediately shattered. He's like, how are you doing this? As he's dodging Midoriya's stabs. Because Midoriya, he hasn't activated Bankai. He's holding back a lot, might I add. He's going as slow as he can. Because you aren't holding back, Todoroki. If you want me to fight you at my full power. He slams the blunt, the bottom of the spear into the ground, cracking the ground, as he points towards Todoroki. Then you use your full power. It's the only way you're gonna beat me. I have the ability to manipulate ice, water, and ice. You're at the disadvantage. Who are you more scared of? Your old man or yourself? Come on, Todoroki! Wake up! You can't be anything if you're only gonna use half power! Because if you won't show me your full power, then I'm not gonna show you more than a fraction of mine. The whole crowd's like, this is only a fraction? Let it be known, I'm gonna be the next #1. Because I am the strongest. As, he rips the spear out of the ground, spinning it in his hand, creating a glowing ring of energy. And mind you, this energy is blue. Well, for now it is. Once he activates Bankai, his energy-based attacks turn green. So, he brings it in front of him, spinning it between his hands. You ready, Todoroki? Because this time, I'm not gonna miss. As everyone sees a bunch of, like, ice particles forming in front of the spear. As Todoroki is like, I get it. Let's see how strong you are, Midoriya. And thank you, my friend. As Midoriya, you know, you can visibly see him smiling. Ah, yeah. Let's go, Toto! Bring it! You know, as they begin to clash, once again, you know, Midoriya actually, you know, he's speeding up. You know, he's still playing with Todoroki, but he's sped up. So Midoriya, you know, he's taking this a bit seriously. You know, he's pumped. You know, he's like, oh, I want to use it. Oh, I want to use it. Bakuri's like, no, if you use it, we won't have a secret. But no one knows about the second Bankai. And, you know, she's like that one meme where it's like the stick figure, you know, about to say something with his finger holding up, but then it goes down as he closes his mouth. Fair enough, she says. You know, Cody says, fair enough, you can do it. As he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna use it. You know, as Midoriya, you know, jumps back from one of, you know, Todoroki's attacks, and he's like, about time. Let's see if you can handle a fraction of my full power. You know, as he flings the spear, you know, remember, it's still lightly raining, as it begins to rain harder. You know, as, you know, droplets of water start flying towards, you know, the spear. As Midoriya says, I forgot how he act. As everyone just feels cold as they hear a lion's roar. Actually, you know what? It's not a dragon. It's a lion head. As a lion head appears at the base of the spear, you know, biting down on it, basically. As a thin layer of, you know, water begins to cover Midoriya, you know, as his hair spikes up, you know, going back a little bit. As, think of Sub-Zero's mask, but made of ice, basically appears on his face. You know, the gauntlets and the boots appear. No, this is a blizzard. As the rain, begins to turn into snow. Yeah, it's snowing in Japan. Man-made, well, it probably does snow in Japan. I don't know, I've never been to Japan, but anyway. Man-made a blizzard in a second. As, you know, everyone thinks they can see like a giant ice tiger behind Midoriya, but it's just a mirage. As, you know, he then, you know, spins, he raises his spear over his body with his right arm, spins it around, and then slashes back, turning it into an odachi. Basically a two-handed samurai sword. Not samurai sword, a two-handed katana. You know, it has the lion, no, not lion, tiger head. As he says, turn it all to ice. You know, now this thin layer of like water that was covering Midoriya turns lightly green. So you can see like a light green hue coming off Midoriya as his gauntlet, the ice in his gauntlets turns green. You know, same for the mask, same for the collar, ice thing, and the boots. as he gets into a position, and then he disappears, slamming the butt of his sword in Todoroki's head, launching him out of the ring. As he's like, I didn't even use... Dang, I thought you'd be more entertaining. Even after I broke out my Bankai. Now, there is a major drawback to this form. Well, basically a Shikai form too. The reason that it gets so cold is because Midoriya himself can only survive his own ice for so long. So when he breathes in, that's him actually taking the heat from everything. Depending on how cold he's about to make it, changes how much, heat he's pulling into his body. So he can either completely freeze over due to lack of heat, or overheat from, absorbing too much. As he deeply sighs, like, the ice everywhere, the snow melts, the ice around his body shatters, the water just drops, hits the floor, and everything immediately heats up. The humidity turns back to normal, and the storm/blizzard just dispersed. As, the sword turns back to normal, Midoriya, stabbing it into the ground. Not stabbing it into the ground, sheathing it, and his hair turning, back to normal. His eyes stop glowing as he walks out of the ring. But once he gets back to, his little area, he collapses. Midoriya's still not used to using his Bankai just yet. Well, that Bankai. He's pretty much got the handle on the other one. Because he knew that one would be more dangerous. So he needed better control over it. So Midoriya, he's panting. He feels freezing. As Mina, Kirishima, Uraraka, Ida, they're going to go congratulate Midoriya. They see him on the floor, passed out, panting. Mina runs over like, Midoriya! Or, no, not Midoriya. She runs over like, Izuku! She feels his head. He's burning up. His skin is so cold. Kirishima's like, is this what happens when he uses that final ability? Mina's like, Ida, go get him a blanket or something. Come on. He runs off to go grab Todoroki. When he does, Todoroki's like, what? We need your help. Todoroki's like, lead the way. Todoroki grabs him, not Todoroki, Ida grabs him and just, where's it, bro? Stop. Brings him back to Midoriya, who, Mina, she's holding him, trying to warm him up. As she looks up at Todoroki. Hey, you have a fire quirk, right? Come on, help us warm him up. Todoroki's, like, freaking out, like, what happened? We don't know. Kirishima's like, we don't know, bro. We walked in here to congratulate him, and we found him on the floor. As, Todoroki lights up his left side, lights a fire in his palm, holding it close to Midoriya as he's warming up. He's like, as Mina's like, he finally stopped shivering. Thanks, Todoroki. It's not a problem. He helped me learn that I could use this to help people. I guess it's ironic that the first person I would help is him. And, yeah, we're just gonna time skip. You know, Midoriya's feeling better. He gets up, he goes to the stands. You know, everyone, you know, Mina's keeping a close eye on him. She's sitting like right next to him. You know, he's like, Mina, is everything okay? After the stunt you pulled? No. Mina, you know, as, you know, she's sitting directly next to him, you know, like holding on to his arm, making sure he stays warm. As, you know, it's time for him versus Bakugo. And, you know, Bakugo's like, don't hold back on me, Deku! Fuck, Bakugo, I don't feel good. I'm just gonna throw you out of the ring, okay? You know, as he, with a finger, launching him out of the ring. Bakugo hits the ground, Midoriya leaves. He wins the USJ, not the USJ, the Sports Festival, and that's where I'm going to be cutting it off. I know, yeah,